welcome back to my channel. I'm Margarita and I'm so happy to have you here. I just finished my first week of corporate, so it's Friday night and it went really well being at my new job. So I'm just really hopeful that I can prove myself and that everything goes well. However, you know, like when you feel a cold coming on, your throat gets itchy, you feel stuffy, and you're like, oh no, a cold is coming. I'm feeling like a reading slump is coming. I was trying all week to read Homeseeking by Pearse and only got like 100 pages in. And I also was in the midst of Oona out of order. And I just felt like I was coming home and not being able to like establish a routine. And I felt like I wasn't looking forward to reading. Hence, I feel the slump coming. So I'm going to try to do 3 or 4 different things that I think could help me get out of a reading slump / prevent one from happening. This vlog, I'm going to hopefully read Famous by Blake Crouch, The Night Before by Wendy, which I read another one by her and I really enjoyed it, and I'll talk more about that later. And then I want to finish Oona Out of Order by Margarita, Montimore. So I'm going to try a few different things to see if I can shake it up a little and enjoy reading. But my first goal is to read the shortest book on my bookshelf to hopefully get me some confidence and some like excitement around reading again and like get a book done, because that's the best feeling when you finish a book. So for that, I'm going to read Blake Crouch's Famous. This is about someone who impersonates a famous person and like takes over their life. So that sounds really fun. So I'm going to see if doing like a one sitting quick read helps with the reading slump and then take it from there. My second coffee of the day because I pet the dog too much this morning and all of his dog hair went in coffee, so I couldn't drink it, which is really sad because you will have seen I made a nice big cup of coffee when I was finishing Famous by Blake Crouch this morning. So my first goal, I guess, was to try to do like one sitting short book. I got pretty far. I think I got like 130, 140 pages. But there was a point where like I knew I wanted to watch the movie People We Meet on Vacation on Netflix, which I did last night, which is the adaptation of the book People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, which came out on Netflix yesterday. And quick movie review, I thought it was so good. I thought they had so much integrity of the book in it. And I really thought based off the trailer that I was not going to like this movie. And I loved it. I was like cackling. Like there were parts that were so funny. And like it's different to see those funny parts in the book versus how they're translated on screen and you're physically seeing them and you're seeing like the physical comedy of some of these things. When I saw the casting for People We Meet on Vacation, I was like, oh, I guess it's not like big names out there, but they were fantastic. They were so good. Their chemistry was like so hot. It was so great. And I had the best time watching that movie. So if you have read the book, go watch the movie. And I think if you want to read the book first, read the book, because the book is also fantastic. I read it last year in an Emily Henry vlog, actually, so I can link that if you want to watch that. Anyway, that's why I stopped reading this last night, because I was like, I felt like I was hitting a stopping point, and I was like, I want to go watch this movie. So this book, Famous, follows Lance, or Lancelot, and he's kind of like a down on his luck, lives with his parents, loses his job. He always had this fascination with this actor that he looks like, Oscar-winning actor James Jensen, and he looks like his literal doppelganger. And he gets told all the time, you look like James Jensen. So he decides to become James Jensen. It is such a unique, cool premise, in my opinion. I thought it was a lot of fun. It is a short and sweet book. It felt a little unfinished, like just because I wanted to know more. But I think the point of the story is that like, done story, it's done. This is all you're getting. And I kind of like how almost like aggressive that would be on Blake Crouch's part to be like, I know I could totally make you happy and make this like a 300-page novel, but I'm going to stop it at 188 so that you're left wanting more. And it's a book that it's short and sweet, but it makes you kind of think about things like just on a life level. It makes you think a lot about fame, about money, about like the joys in life and what's important, family. It makes you think about children and just like growing a family. There's so many things in this book, and it's so short, which is so fun. Why it gets so much accomplished in such a short amount of time. I'd give it like a 4.5 out of 5. This was really great. Probably my second favorite Blake Crouch behind Dark Matter. I just love Dark Matter. Interesting because Dark Matter is a lot about like cloning yourself and like becoming different versions of yourself. So I wonder if that's something that Blake Crouch just like enjoys, that theme. And even recursion is like jumping through points of time in your life. And then upgrade is upgrading your brain. So I feel like I can definitely tell Blake Crouch just has a certain train of thought that he goes with. Now, would I say reading a short and sweet book helped with the reading slump factor? I actually do think it helped a little bit. I still feel kind of slumped. This helped, but I feel like, I don't know, I'm still not like, woohoo. So the next thing I'm going to try is doing some different types of crafts while listening to audio, because I really love the audio for Oona Out of Order, but I keep feeling like even when I'm listening to audio, I'm like zoning out. I'd rather just listen to nothing. But I really love the audiobook, so I don't know why I'm not like super excited to keep listening to it. But the thing that I'm going to try either now or later today is doing a different type of craft. So usually I'm like diamond arting when I'm listening to audio. So I have like, I'm working on these coasters right now, which are so cute. But I think I want to try like doing a different type of craft. So I have a blanket that I've been knitting forever that I need to work on. So I'm going to try that while I listen to the audio. And then I also got in a book outlet order this little comfy and cozy, cute and bold coloring. And I thought maybe doing some like coloring might be fun instead. I think maybe doing some different crafts while I listen to it might make me a little bit more excited for it maybe, but I will let you know. I'm back with a plethora of updates. The past day has been fun, just lots of crafting, and we had a fun date day yesterday. We went to a brewery and to an arcade, so that was really fun. Today, just a bit of a low energy day. I think for the first time, like I had Sunday scaries last week because it was the week before starting a new job, but I think these are like the actual Sunday scaries, and it's setting in of like, on Sunday, I need a grocery shop, I need to plan what I'm doing for the week, and I need to plan my dinners for the week and lunch for the week. And so I just like feel like I was doing so much stuff this morning and like cleaning and getting my laundry done and put away. I'm just like used to last year when I took some time off, like doing a lot of things on my own timeline or like being able to clean on like a Tuesday morning. So now like knowing that I have to be a little bit more regimented again is like definitely sinking in, and the Sunday scaries are back. I used to get them really bad at my other accounting jobs, so I'm just trying to come at it with a new lens and see how I can make things a little bit better. And honestly, sitting here crafting has actually made me feel a lot better. I do think doing like a little bit of a different type of a craft. So this is the little scene that I was coloring last night and today, and I just finished it. And I also just finished Oona Out of Order. But I do think doing like a different type of hobby while I was listening to audio, although I was doing a little bit of diamond art still, I'm still working through on this coaster. It was kind of fun to do something different and like just like let my brain do a little bit of something different while I was listening to audio. So this is definitely pretty fun, and I still have like a bunch of other new crafts that are in my crafting table that I have to give a try. So I'm glad I tried something a little different. This is really fun, but there's definitely like more methods to it. And like, I don't know if it's my markers or whatever, but I'm like, I'm sure you could like make this pretty intense. Just letting my mind like listen to the audiobook. I did think that like doing something new with my hands and my brain kind of helped the slumpiness a bit. Oona Out of Order, I'm just gonna give like a 3 out of 5 to. So Oona Out of Order is about Oona, and she wakes up on New Year's Day in a different year of her life. So she could be 21 and then she jumps to like 50, or she could be 22 and then she jumps to like 35 and like swaps back and forth, forward and back. She could be in a succession year, she could not. Like, it's all up in the air, and the only person around her who can help her is her mother. So that is one thing I loved about this book, is the relationship between Oona and her mother, Madeline. I think I just, in general, am not great with like time-bending books. I think they like make me a little agitated. When I read Wrong Place, Wrong Time last year in the fall, I had mentioned that like I just couldn't with the time bending, and the same thing with Recursion with Blake Crouch. I like was like, it's bothering me. I do think that there's really interesting commentary about like living your life to the fullest and taking one day at a time, and even if you knew your future, trying to make the best of today. I think if you liked The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, you might like this book. I felt indifferent also about The Midnight Library. I think that book was also about like living your life to the fullest and day by day and all of that. And more update news, you will have seen that I went to the library. So I'm not going to show you all of the books I got, just because there is one author study video that I might possibly do, but I have not fully decided on it yet. They have like an area where you can get books for $1. So I got 800 Grapes by Laura Dave. And I actually have a Laura Dave vlog on my channel. I read a couple of her books. And they're always like nice, like light reads. Sometimes there's a thrilling aspect to it. Sometimes there's not. A lot of times it's like a domestic type of situation, but it was brand new. And then I also got The Lost Girls of Paris by Pam Jenoff. I've heard great things about this book, and this copy was like a beautiful new deckled edged copy. So I thought, why not? And Kate Quinn blurbed, and I love Kate Quinn a lot with the Alice Networks. I also got my book club book. My book club with my family is like very sporadic, but I planned a Galentine's for the first week of February. So we are going to brunch and talk about the book. And the book I picked out is Expiration Dates by Rebecca Searle. I have a love-hate relationship with Rebecca Searle. I didn't really love In 5 Years, and I didn't really love The Dinner List, but I do like her writing style. This one sounds really cool. This is about a romance where every time she meets a man, she gets like a note of how long that relationship will last. And I think that's just such a fun concept, and definitely sounded like a good concept for like a book club to talk about. The library only had the large print edition, which is kind of funny because this is just going to be a weird way to read it, but that's fine. So the third thing I wanted to do, just to try to really put this reading slump to bed, but the last thing I want to try is to read a book by an author that I know I've loved one of their other books. And so one that I have not picked up in a long time is Wendy Walker. I'm going to read Wendy Walker's The Night Before. And this is about a woman, and she's in the online dating scene. And instead of the normal run-of-the-mill story of like you go on a date and the man has other sinister intentions, we're actually now worried about the woman that's going on these dates and what she's doing to these men. So sounds like an interesting concept. I know it dives a lot into online dating and just the world of apps and everything, so that sounds really fun. Wendy Walker is actually a Connecticut native writer, so I thought that was really cool. I also found out that she has a new ice skating thriller coming out in the beginning of February, so I will be reading that, and I'm excited for that. But the book that I really enjoyed from her is All Is Not Forgotten. I read this in 2019, and this was one of the first like adult thrillers I read that really got me into thrillers. All Is Not Forgotten, and the premise is so interesting, and I remember being so gripped, but I also at the time was away at Masters living in upstate New York completely alone, and I remember reading this like on my couch and being like, I kept like looking behind me, like I was so creeped out, and I was like, crap, like I'm never gonna go to sleep tonight because I'm like creeped out. This book is about a girl who is attacked at a party, and at the time there is an experimental drug that you can take that helps to erase your memory. So although like her body could feel the after effects and she kind of has some after effects going on, she doesn't know what actually happened because she took this experimental drug. And it was such a good thriller. And then it was also just an interesting conversation of like, would you erase, you know, the bad things that happened to you, and why or why not should you do that, and what are those effects that radiate through the rest of your life? Do remember this book being very disturbing, so just go into it, or I don't know if you can look up trigger warnings online, but be a little careful if that's something that, you know, I would say it gives the same vibe as like Karen Slaughter disturbing. Like Karen Slaughter has some tough, disturbing concepts in her book. Interested to see what the night before. So I feel like reading a book from an author that I know I already like might be pretty fun for me. So I think that that could help really extinguish the rest of my slumpiness vibes going into the next week. I'm back for all of the updates. I can officially report these slumpiness vibes are gone because yesterday at work, I was dying to get home and tear through the rest of The Night Before by Wendy Walker. This book was a 5 out of 5. It feels like it was such a hidden gem on my shelf. This book follows Laura, and she kind of has a dark past with men. She feels like she's always unloved in every relationship, and she keeps searching for that guy who will really fill this huge void. And she goes on this findlove.com, and she goes out with this man one night and she does not come home. And now she lives with her sister. She moved back home. And her sister notices she's not home and starts to worry, and then goes on a wild time trying to find out what happened to her sister the night before. This book covers so much juiciness of online dating, pitfalls of it, and it really flips the script on usually you're worried about the women going on these dates because there's so much vulnerability and so many things that could go wrong and they could get hurt. However, with Laura's dark past, something happened in her past and we don't know if she did it or not. The sister really starts to worry that, no, I'm not worried about the guy who went on the date. I'm worried about what my sister did to the guy on the date. And so she's just trying to track down her sister, and she has the help of her husband and a childhood friend. And it's just such a quick page turner. I really enjoyed. There's like 3 different, not POVs, but just like chapter types. So you either have a chapter of Laura with her therapist, and they're going back through like the beginning of time and talking about her life. And then you have her sister Rosie's chapter, and Rosie is in present day trying to understand what happened to her sister. And then in Laura's chapters, you're getting what actually happened the night before on this date, hour by hour. And it's so good. I think having the different types of chapters makes it move so quickly. And I just liked, there was a lot of conversation about like intimacy and power and relationships. And it was good. It was a great time. If anyone's read this, please let me know what you thought of it. I could see people maybe not loving the ending, but I thought the ending was really surprising and interesting. I haven't really heard people talk about this book, so I'm very interested what people thought of this. I did a little more coloring, and honestly, I like this one so much better than the other one. You also might have seen me knitting at one point during this vlog. This is my blanket. She's actually coming out way better than I thought, and I'm about to finish a skein, like a skein of yarn. I have 3 skeins of yarn left to go onto this blanket, and then she will finally be done. I don't know if I will do some like cool border around my blanket once I'm done. I really feel like so invigorated and ready to take on reading after reading these 3 this week. I really do think that all 3 methods that I tried to like avoid a reading slump and feel excited about reading again actually worked. Like reading the shortest book, that was a great idea. I think listening to this and doing some different types of crafts to kind of keep my hobbying fun for me was a great idea. And then picking up a book off an author that I knew I already really liked. I'm excited because I was really worried with this new job that I was just going to come home and like not want to read anymore. And that would be the saddest thing ever, because even though I'm working again and working full time, I want to make sure that I'm coming home and hobbying and just having a nice time. I still don't have kids, not anytime soon. So I just like want to enjoy life, you know, and keep my hobbies, especially in the winter. Like what else am I going to do? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!